one after the orbit splash down to Earth, they'll be heading to one of the seven targeted sites supported by SpaceX and NASA. All these sites are located on the coast of Florida, either in the Gulf of Mexico or in the Atlantic Ocean. Spreading the supported sites across multiple locations helps to maximize the return opportunities for this mission and future crews, lowering the chance that we'll have to wave off due to bad weather.
In the lead up to today, NASA and SpaceX jointly selected primary and alternate splashdown locations off the coast of Panama City, our primary location, and Tampa as the alternate. The selection process works with a lot of different variables, including the space station's orbital trajectory, what landing sites are available and have favorable weather, how much free flight capability Dragon has for the trip home, and the sleep schedule for the returning crew members.
We'll start with calculating daily return options based off of the space station's current orbit and Dragon's capabilities to maneuver and line up for re-entry. The time from undock to landing at the primary site can vary from less than 6 hours to more than 39. Today, our primary landing site gets the crew home in about 6.5 hours from undocking. Certainly, getting home the quickest comes with some obvious benefits, but we always have to make sure that the crew is properly rested for dynamic operations, preventing us from scheduling 20-plus hour days for them. Trajectory and ballistics experts provide the daily opportunities that would line up Dragon with 7 landing zones and split them into what we call ascending and descending opportunities.
Dragon uses its Draco thrusters after leaving station to execute a series of altitude-lowering maneuvers and to line up with the selected primary site. It can also change to different alternate sites while in free flight if sudden weather moves in that we want to avoid. And weather is something that we're constantly looking at, making the final call to proceed about 2.5 hours before the crew undocks. For the Crew 1 return, we'll be looking at a number of weather items. Some of the obvious ones are no rain or chance of lightning in the recovery zone, both for the safety of the crew inside the capsule and the recovery teams on the water. We're also looking for wind speeds less than 15 feet a second or about 10 miles an hour and relatively calm seas so we can safely execute recovery operations, which includes landing a helicopter on the recovery ship to fly Mike, Victor, Shannon, and Soichi back to Florida. Once Dragon is flying free, we'll have a number of additional checkpoints to either proceed towards the primary landing site, head to the alternate, or select a new zone based on real-time weather data. These checks are happening all the way up until we are in the final hours before the deorbit burn, which is the last burn in the trip home and commits the Dragon capsule to re-entering the Earth's atmosphere.
And if you've been following along, the teams have been looking at return opportunities since Wednesday, April 20th.
Hello guys, and welcome. Did you notice what they're talking about? This is the Crew 1 mission return, and the Dragon is about to disconnect itself, or whatever they call it, undock from the space station. So I thought I might show you this. Because I think most of you guys that come to my channel are familiar with probably what I'm kind of pointing this out for. There's a reason. Because John saw something in Revelation that almost word for word is what's going on today. And we just have to think about where heaven is. It's up in the sky. And this is what John says. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out. That's what we're watching here. Let's just look at a series of departure burns will move Dragon away from the orbiting laboratory, followed by the vehicle jettisoning the trunk to reduce weight and mass to help save propellant for the deorbit burn. Once complete, Dragon will re-enter Earth's atmosphere and deploy its 2 drogue and 4 main parachutes in preparation for a soft water landing. This is SpaceX that wrote this, or whatever. This is a SpaceX video, okay? All I'm doing is observing it and pointing out that that it's happening, that it's coming to pass. So, let's see here. I see Tom Morgan says on early. Yes, I decided to go a little early.
Less than 3 days to either our primary or alternate locations. So the crew have 3 days worth of food and snacks on board, along with plenty of water.
On the
and
Dragon.
As Andy just mentioned, for today's undocking, Panama City is the prime splashdown location, and Tampa is the backup location for splashdown. And as a reminder, Dragon does have.
We'll just listen. It's supposed to be at 8:35, so it's like 5 minutes away that it's supposed to disconnect or whatever. Undock.
And we are awaiting for that call to begin undocking in about 3 minutes, well, 2 minutes from now. And as we mentioned, it should take under 5 minutes for that undocking sequence to actually occur. So we won't see any movement right away at first from Crew Dragon. If we're able to get a view of it, I know it's still, they're in a night pass in their orbit around the Earth. So we'll be waiting, and we won't see that initial movement, but we have to see those hooks and latches retract, and then those 2 short burns.
Yeah, we should be hearing the call out again in a couple minutes here, and that will begin the sequence to start to pull away those hooks, and eventually Dragon will fire its thrusters to remove the stiction from its forward bulkhead and the station, and begin to make its journey all the way back home to Earth.
And if you've been listening, we got our go for undock from the team here, as you can see in Mission Control Houston, as well as the team here in Hawthorne. About 10 minutes ago, got that final go to undock, and Crew Dragon Resilience radioed back that they are go as well. Hatches. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say we have some precious cargo on board with the 4 astronauts, but they're also bringing home quite a bit of cargo, additional cargo as well, over 250 kilograms worth of supplies, food, and stuff as well, and experiments to bring back with the return to Earth.
We heard them addressing in the previous show. We were watching Hatch Closure. They addressed the polar lockers, and those help us bring home science and research that's been conducted on station that needs to be refrigerated. So it's a wonderful capability of Crew Dragon that we're able to get that back to Earth to be analyzed, and so that the teams here on Earth that put together those investigations can take a look.
And all that cargo is being stored in the pressurized section, or sort of the capsule section of Dragon. Sometimes we can store objects in the trunk, but later on you'll see that we actually eject the trunk.
SpaceX undock sequence commanded.
We actually undock the trunk in preparation for re-entry.
Copies, we see the same.
That's the call we were looking for, right on time at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. Crew Dragon and the International Space Station flying 260 statute miles southwest of Liberia. You can see a picture of Crew Dragon there in the center of the screen.
Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. Umbilical demate complete and nominal.
Resilience copies.
And the first step has been complete, that umbilical demating that provided power and data from International Space Station to Dragon.
So now with Dragon getting ready to undock and the umbilicals have separated, let's go to Brandy in Mission Control at Johnson Space Center for updates.
Thanks, Andy. That confirmation of the umbilical retraction means that a series of steps have been set off. Right now, the first set of 6 out of 12 hooks should be retracting. That starts just a split second after the undock command is sent. There are 2 sets of 6 for 12 in total. Take about 4.5 minutes in all to unhook, after which time the Dragon will be able to begin performing a series of undocking burns to move itself away from the space station. Again, that first set of 6 hooks should be retracting right now. Live view here of the Dragon from the cameras on board the International Space Station. When it does move away from the space station, you should be able to see that in real time. Again, waiting as the 12 hooks that are holding the Dragon to the space station begin to unhook.
Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. First set of hooks open and nominal.
Vince copies, we see the same.
Confirmation there from the core in Hawthorne that the first set of hooks was able to unlatch as expected. Now working on that second set of 6 hooks. Those 12 hooks have been holding the Dragon to the space station. And once they've all retracted, the Dragon will begin to perform a series of burns that will move it away. That's still about a minute or so away. First undocking burn should come at 7:34 p.m. Central Time. The first burn is only a minute and a half, or second and a half long, and will be quickly followed by a 5-second burn, undock burn 2, at 7:35. And then almost immediately after that, a 16-second departure burn 0. Halfway through that second set of hooks.
Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. All hooks open and nominal.
Dragon copies, we see separation.
Mike Hopkins there confirming what you're seeing on the screen. Dragon moving away from the International Space Station.
Dragon separation visually confirmed.
And SpaceX concurs.
That undocking taking place at 7:35 p.m. Central Time, 5:35 p.m. Pacific, while the station and Dragon were 260 miles above Mali. That wraps up Crew 1's stay on the International Space Station, begun in November, and puts them on a path.
SpaceX on the big loop. Depart burn 0 complete. Nominal burn.
Yeah, that's the devil. It's the devil. On your screen. John saw it already and wrote it down. Go check that out again. See, there appeared a wonder in heaven of a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. And that happened in like September of 2017. It was pretty clear. And then John said that he saw another right here, and there appeared another wonder in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon. You guys have probably seen this. What happens when I type in SpaceX red dragon? Whoops. What's this? You just watched this. This vehicle. You just watched it disconnect from the space station. Here's another image of it. This is kind of what we just watched, except the little lid was up. Flight of Red Dragon. there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. Let me show you something. If I can find it. His tail. I guess I don't really have a... I'll play you an animation of it. His tail. It said, and his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. This is just an animation, but it lands. Not the Dragon capsule, but the Falcon 9 rocket. It lands. That would be its tail. And did cast them to the earth. And let me show you a video. I didn't grab it yet, but pretty sure I know where it is. So, what do you guys think of that? So this is a video of a SpaceX Falcon 9 second stage burning up in the sky over Washington area. I think John saw this. Pretty clear that he actually saw this. That would be his tail, right? The dragon's tail. Gonna see more and more of this, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, that was pretty much the whole reason why I did that live stream, is because now they got a 6 or 7 hour journey back to Earth from that darkness. From darkness, guys. I saw Paul put in the chat. I gotta find it because I had to do the pop-out chat, so it hasn't been in the right spot on the screen, so I haven't been reading it. But Paul Levi put a quote from Jesus in here. And this is the condemnation, that light has come into the world, and men loved darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. Think about that. That place is not where we are supposed to go. But welcome everyone, and thank you for coming. And let's see. Oh, I think on Monday, I think I'm going to be debating Seek Truth, Speak Truth on Craig's channel, Fight the Flat Earth channel. So that ought to be interesting. So yeah, that's what that is on your screen. Did you guys like my intro? This thing? Yep. Trying to get me. I don't know what. It was just funny. It was just something I found online, so I had to make it. Back to the serious part. So there we are seeing a war in heaven, guys. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels. And you know, actually, we could try to find something. I don't remember where it was, though. So I'm probably not going to try to find it. Oh. I think we could find it. There was something weird that happened on the launch that happened just last week. And I'm making a short video about it, but right at the stage separation where the second stage separates from the Dragon capsule, there was let's see here. I'm just gonna have to type it in. We're just gonna watch it. Okay, because this is Crew 1 mission launch. Okay. Or it's Crew 2, I'm sorry. My computer's going to be slow too. Crew 2 launch. Okay, streamed 1 week ago. I think this is the one. Yes, this is the one. So yeah, this is where I was. Okay.
Service section Dracos around Dragon. Next milestone will be the deployment of the nose cone. That'll be about a 5-minute process. We have spacecraft separation.
Okay, so here's separation. Well, just watch the screen. Right after the separation.
Ten seconds to spacecraft separation. We should
9,
hear words from the core
8.
here in Mission Control Hawthorne once we have successful separation.
Something comes flying from the side. It's kind of weird. Okay, right in just a second here. Watch on the right side. See something went flying, now watch something comes flying this way. Whoa, right between them. What's up with that? Is that the best quality we got? I guess that's what we get.
Say hi to the crew waiting for us and let them know your rocket is home safe. Thanks for flying our first flight through.
Dragon separation control.
What's up with that, huh? That's kind of scary. Nobody says anything about it during the live stream, of course.
Thanks for flying our first flight proven crewed Falcon 9. Sierra site.
So there you are. That's kind of weird, huh? Let's see what they're saying over here, and then I'm gonna end the stream.
We accomplished that through 3 additional departure burns to get the
all these
astronauts
burns.
of Crew 1 well away from the space station and on their way home.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that Dragon decides to move up and over. The way I like to think about it is if you've ever watched a track race, when they start the track race, they stagger the folks, and the person in the outer lane is sort of gets a head start, so to speak. But that's because the distance it takes to travel around the lap is much greater for the person further away from the center. And so with Dragon, what we do is Dragon and International Space Station are generally speaking traveling at the same speed. And so if we just move it up to a higher orbit, it'll move relatively slower than the International Space Station, which would just clear it. And then once it's clear, it can start to fire those thrusters again and make its way underneath the International Space Station and be clear of any potential sort of collisions. So you may have noticed that our average time from liftoff to the International Space Station is somewhere between 23 and 24 hours. But when we leave, it's a lot quicker. It's because we don't have any hold points during departure sequence, right? We can just kind of undock and start to head home with all of our burns. It takes a lot less time to leave than arrive. Any second now, we are expecting the next departure burn, the second of 4. This burn will increase the initial opening rate between Crew Dragon and the space station.
And even though this is known as Departure Burn 1, it, like you mentioned, is the second. We just completed Depart Burn 0, which was about 16 seconds, and this one should be...
All right, guys, I'm going to head out, but just remember this. There's mysteries being revealed pretty clearly, and one of them is right here that we're looking at. This is a dragon that's flying up in heaven, and it's being cast out into the earth right now. These are phrases straight from the book of Revelation that I'm saying, and it's burning the, whatever they call it, the darkness, sky, whatever, it's there's fire. You see the fire? Now, what John said is that the dragon he saw flying up in the sky, he said that was Satan, the devil. And I can understand why he would say that. It's selling the entire world the wrong idea. it is deceiving the whole world. So it's something to think about. Because we have not been doing this for a long time either. This is fairly new, going into space. We're like the first generation born while there's been people going into space. So keep that in mind. Don't believe this stuff to be anything for humanity. We don't belong in that darkness. And that's about all I got to say about it. I can see it happening. So have a great weekend. But yeah, now you see TV's on tonight. That's what I'm going to be watching at, I think, 10 o'clock my time, the midnight ride. All right, you guys have a good one. And let's see. Yeah, that's about all I got. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk to you next time.